I wanted to tell you a really interesting story from my working life. I was out to dinner, a business dinner over in the United States, out in the evening, and I sit next to a guy and we get talking. And it turns out he's a really senior executive from a large global business. He's a really smart guy, really powerful guy, which is why I was so surprised at what he said to me, the first words out of his mouth. I'd given a speech that day based on my book, The Spark, which is about business creativity. So he knew what my interests were. And he said, "Greg, I don't care what you say. I'm not creative. And I don't think you can teach or manage someone to be more creative. They're either born that way or they're not." Well, we had a pretty heated debate. It was very interesting. There was a lot of red wine involved, which probably didn't help my argument that much. But it has inspired me to make this video. And this video is really what to say if someone tells you, "I'm not creative." I can prove everyone can relearn how to be creative. To do that, let me take you back 50 years to 1968.
The engines are on.
NASA is gearing up to launch the rocket that will take a man to the moon. And they've got a big problem. They need the most creative engineers and scientists to put on their hardest projects. So they ask a young psychology professor called George Land if he and his team can create a test for creativity. And it was very successful, very predictive of creativity. So George, being an enterprising kind of guy, thought, well, who else can I test? So he found 1,600 American school children and used the test on them. And the results were really surprising. I'm not sure if you can guess what proportion of those school children tested right at the top of the range as being highly creative, what George Land called creative geniuses. It was 98%. George waited for 5 years and tested those kids again at 10 years old. He was amazed to see the number had plummeted to 30%. At 15, it was 12%. And when the test was given to just under 300,000 adults, the results were most shocking of all. Between childhood and adulthood, the situation had exactly reversed. Only 2% of adults in the general population rated as highly creative. 98% are like my senior executive friend, thinking and seeing themselves as irredeemably uncreative. His conclusion was, uncreative behaviour, uncreative thinking is learned. We learn it at school and at work, which can seem a bit depressing, but you can also flip it round, because what can be learnt, of course, can be unlearned, which makes it, to me, very inspiring. It means we can all relearn those creative behaviours and thinking patterns that we had when we were little. Creativity is not a personality trait. It's an attitude, it's a mindset, it's a way of thinking, and we can think our way back into that. It's my job to offer you practical tips and techniques to do just that. If you find that interesting and you want to bring that into your work life, please do feel free to follow me on LinkedIn and Twitter and on YouTube. See you soon.